So spoiler alert, I am planning a trout trip on the channel here soon. I'm looking forward to building some baits and then taking those baits out to some trout streams about an hour away and making a whole video of it. We're gonna wade in some beautiful waters and hopefully catch a ton. But with that trip, I want to take some spinners, some trout spinners. I've never made one, so that's what we're going to do today. Inline spinners for bass, yep, we've done that. Inline buzz baits, we've also done that. We have bent our fair share of wire on this channel, but I've never made the little guys. It's gonna rain here in about, 2-3 hours, so we need to get busy, get this thing tied up on the vise, get some custom wire bent up, and then head to the water and see if our prototype, I got what it takes to be able to build one of these things so that I'm then ready to do it for the trout trip coming up a little bit later. Look at that little guy. That is a size 12 VMC 9617 tiny treble. It'll be our hook of choice today. We are going to hook that onto a 20mm fish shank, articulated fish shank. You guys are used to seeing these on the channel. I think that's going to be a good platform for the material of choice. A little big, but I want a little extra room because, I don't know, I want it to be a little bit fuller. I'm not looking for teeny tiny little stuff. Other materials, I'm thinking orange marabou, just pluck some off the end. I've got some chartreuse UV polar chenille to wrap it up. I'm thinking kind of like a woolly bugger type deal, nice and bright. The waters are still a little muddy now because of all this rain recently, so brighter colors is going to be beneficial. We will be using red 210 denier flat wax nylon. And lastly, I got on Amazon just because it was easy, and I bought a whole box or a whole container of these guys. Little 16th ounce and I think lighter weights for the front or for the right in front of the hook that's going to weight this thing down. I've picked out a white one with orange dots on it to kind of go with our orange feathers. Wire form is in the vise. Time to get this loop closed off. You can see I already have my teeny tiny little hook in place. First up, we need to take just a little bit of this marabou. Not looking for a ton. Want that nice wispy stuff. And in fact, this is an opportune time if you've got some less than perfect feathers that you can't really use for a full build. Now is the time to pull those out and use those. This is a good example. Good wispy stuff that we can pull off the end and use just the good stuff without having to worry about all the not so optimal stuff. And just like that, see we've got a little tuft. So let's get that on here. It's gonna go past the hook, that's okay. Pretty common, I think, for these kinds of builds. Yeah, let's try it right there. Push that around. Sorry for the air conditioning noise, but it's hot and it needs to be on. Alright, so that looks pretty good. I think we're going to need a little bit of a patch on the bottom. Yeah, see right there? Let's get our measurement right. Alright. Always the harder part when the vise is in the way. We'll make it. Go. I'm actually going to take this all the way up. I love bent scissors for this. It just seems like it kind of gets in there a little bit easier at an angle so my hand isn't in the way while I'm using them. So let's close that down, or cover all that up rather. And then we're going to go back to the base. Got one stray. Next item, as I mentioned, or next material, that UV polar chenille in chartreuse. Nice and loose to capture it, seal it up, or cinch it up rather, and then cinch her down. Take the thread to the other end, a little half hitch right there. Now we can hang this guy up and use the rotary function of the vise to wrap this guy and make our woolly bugger-esque, woolly bugger inspired little bait here. Today this is going to be a panfish bait, just to test it out. Not going for trout today, but it is not so much a proof of concept, right? These are known to work, but it's a proof of building adequacy, so that when I go on this trout trip, I can have some confidence that I've built what I need and done it successfully. Two behind, pull it out, or pull it back rather, and then put a couple in front. That locks it in. And now I can snip. Beautiful. Let me give it a couple more wraps. I'm going to pull it, or wrap it back on top of itself just a bit to further secure it in place. Kind of like that red hot spot. There we go. And we're ready to whip finish. 3, 5 would be more than enough in that spot. There we go. Looking pretty good. All that's left is to lock those threads in place. Of course, we go to the Loon hard head, or not hard head. I always want to say hard head. Loon water-based head cement. Pull that back and give those threads a little coating. Make sure they are locked down. That all looks really good. By the way, I am not the trout aficionado. I have trout fished before, but to say that I know the patterns, I know the colors that they like, would not be true of me. If you are a trout guy, or fancy yourself to know something about trout, then please help me out. Help a brother out. And drop some comments down below about colors and anything else that you want to give me as a heads up to set me up for a win. This guy is done. Next thing we need to do is bend our wire. So hopefully you guys remember the good old Hagen's commercial wire former. We've used this before on the channel for those other builds that I had mentioned, and it's going to be the tool of choice today. Got my 029 wire. So the first thing we're going to do is get our wire between those two posts. I take it all the way up there on 040 wire when doing like buzzbaits and such. I don't think we need that much, so I'm actually going to come down a bit and get our first bend in, just like that. Now I want to take that R, face it that direction, put it back on that middle post, and just bend it back a little bit so you get something that looks like that. So normally we would just pick this up here, take our loop end, put it around this post, and the two curved ends, or the two angled sides, would go inside of this block. But this is going to be our the back end of this thing, so we actually need to thread our piece on first. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. There we go. So as we make this loop, it's actually going to have the bait already tied to it, or attached to it. And that's what she looks like so far. From there we can go ahead and close this down. Quick word of note though, I've used this so many times. I've noticed, see this play left to right? It's going to the right towards the bait, coming away from the bait to the left. If I push this down and shove it to the right, I've found that I bind up this wire. For whatever reason, it can't spin in there properly, and I end up either shearing the wire or I get a bent, nasty, gnarly mess in there. So when I put it down, I place it down, and then I push it to the left away from the bait. That gives that spin enough space to kind of complete that first one, and then we can get a couple barrel spins or barrel twists on there. So over to the left, moderate pressure. And right there you hear that click. That means it's done. And there it is. The bait is attached to the wire nice and secure. You can see I have just a little bit of a hangover there, which isn't a big deal. I'll just take a pair of pliers and bend that down. All right, we are ready to assemble. I'm thinking a gold bead right above our bait would be a good place to start. So we'll slide that on, and then our weight. That's looking good. And then let's do another bead. Maybe another before the clevis. This is the blade, the smallest blade that I had. It's a little Indiana blade. Gold, I think, is going to work out with the dirtier water today. Actually, no. That looks pretty darn good. So let's go ahead and slide on our clevis with that blade. There it is so far. That blade is actually, I don't know, it might actually be a little small, but it does come within a bead's length of the bottom of our barrel ties there, where our bait is. One sec. Do we like that better? This is the next size blade that I have. That does look better, but it looks too big to me for the kind of bait that I'm trying to make here. Of course, this is on the larger side. I think that looks better. This one looks kind of doofy. When I do this for the trout, I think I do want to use this size, which means I'm probably going to need to downsize maybe everything. Once again, you guys tell me in the comments if I need to go smaller. Today, I'm going to put the bigger blade on. See what I'm talking about? I mean, it's sized right, at least for the build today. I think it's the right call. Let's go one more bead. I've got another gold one here. And that is it. She's ready to finish up, but we also need to install a barrel swivel. Nothing fancy here, just a cheap barrel swivel when we do the top loop, because this guy's gonna have a tendency to spin and I don't wanna have a bunch of line twist. All right, let's finish this up. I'm gonna reset our post. Now this is gonna go way beyond. We'll actually cut that off. I put my finger in between the last bead and the edge of this unit. This time we're actually gonna push it up a little bit further, because again, it's 2/9 wire. We don't need a ton. Bring it around, spin it just like before. Ouch, treble hook in my finger. We're gonna push that. You guys can't really see it, but I'm pushing against that other post. See that? I'm pushing against that other post, the bait that way, to give me the same shape. Now we need to cut off a bunch of this excess. So I'm gonna take it over here. This wire former, commercial wire former, actually has measurements over here, if you can believe it. It's a little ruler. I have something taped off for when I do buzz baits, but we'll put the edge of our curve right at the end, and then get in here. I'm going a little shorter than my normal buzz bait length. Snap that off. And before I forget, our swivel. I always forget this part. Get that swivel on there just like we did for the bait itself before it goes onto the post. This thing is loose. You see that? I'm gonna have to look at that from underneath afterwards. Shouldn't be that loose, but I use it a lot. Clamp her down, again, push to the left. Nice and easy on the first turn. I'm pushing down with my left hand and over to the left. And I'm pushing in with my right. There you go. And there you have it. Finished deal, complete with a little barrel swivel at the top. I think she turned out pretty sweet. With the build complete, we are ready to try it out. So let's head out to the water and see if I can't find an opportunistic panfish. We have made it. By the way, that is a number 4 blade, if anybody's curious. So we are at a different spot in Maple, and right out in front of me here is a hump that has all kinds of bluegill beds on it. Obviously the spawn is over, but I don't think they go far. So let's see if we can find one. Hopefully that thing is spinning. Oh yeah, I see it spinning. Oh, it looks good. I don't know if you guys can see it, pretty dirty water, but yeah, she's looking good. There we go, second cast. Looky here. Well, there's a proof of concept. Well, not concept. We know that brim like spinners, but proof that I can make one successfully. Come on now. And we moved down to another dock. You guys remember this one? Had some love on this one with the 6-inch hog. Look at this minnow profile, right? That silhouette. I like the UV because it's bulky and it kind of holds its shape, and then you get right down to a tip with that marabou. Looking quite dandy, dare I say tasty. Ooh, oh dang, look at that. Put that treble right into my finger. Ah, there we go. There we go. Come on, buddy. Yeah, that's a better gill. Yeah, maybe not, maybe about the same size, but what a beauty. Love that orange belly. There we go. Man, what a pretty fish. And that purple. Classic bluegill. Some iridescent. Man, that is a pretty fish. Look at that. Whew. Anyway, let's get him back in the water. We are approaching the spot that I caught a mondo bass at just the other day. This place is known, at least in my world, to eat lures. So, throwing with a little bit of trepidation, but I know they live here. This brush to my right used to extend out into the water quite a ways, and I think it still does underneath the water. Hence the fish and the danger. There's one. There's one. Another beautiful gill. Man, look at those colors. Ooh. Tell you what, boys and ladies, if the trout trip is as successful, it's gonna be a good day, tater. That's 3. Bush. Now we're on the other side. All right. Casting to where I was. Not that I was in the water, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Give me a break. Oh, there's a good one. Yeah. Yeah. Another gill. Beauty. That one hit it like a minute. Wow, look at how orange. The orange in the tail. Woo! Beautiful. There he is. Love that orange in the tail. Beauty. Kind of a dirty orange on the front. Very cool. 4. A quick potty pit stop, and we have made it to the other side of the lake, but not just anywhere. The dock. Not that I think that big one's going to come out and chase this, but they're around here. Status update on the bait, though. That last aggressive gill really did a number on my marabou, and even the as I was saying, even the polar chenille is looking a little rough, but once it gets in the water, it'll slick back. We're gonna fish it till we can't fish it anymore. Which actually reminds me, I know sometimes guys make these with nothing but beads, like different colored beads. So if that's a recommendation, then drop it down in the comments and let me know. I considered that for this build, but wanted to do something at the vise. So maybe an all bead setup would be just as effective. I don't know. Oh, looky here. We got a new species, and oh, that was a bass. He wasn't a huge bass. It wasn't the bass, guys. Relax. But it was a bass. That would have been sweet. Oh, that's a bass. Come on now, stay on this time. Maybe he came back. Not huge, but come on, get up here. There we go. New species. Ooh. Professional angler, bait maker here. There we go. Sweet, man. That's 5. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Could we catch double digits today? Is that even possible? I can't remember the last time I caught double-digit fish. Granted, panfish, I mean, it's not that hard, right? But still, especially out here at Maple, this place has not been the same since they dredged the lower end, completely jacked up the ecosystem. So, oh, this is not number 6 stick bass. But anyway, it would be pretty sweet to get that many today. There's another. Could this be number 6? Keep him on. Yeah. There we go. There he is. Another beauty. Love the green on this one. Wow. Beauteous. Little dude. Look at this guy. Does that count as 1 or half? I'm counting it. That's 7. We do not discriminate based on size. We are just 3 fishies away from double digits. That would be pretty sweet. We were just around that corner down there. Fish around this dock, see if we can find something. I don't have a ton of luck around this dock. I mean, I caught 1 monster fish here. It's been years ago on a topwater, but I have found that they're kind of fickle. Oh my, look at this. Here I am talking about fickle fish. Wow, acrobat. Another bass. That is number 8. So like I was saying, this dock is awesome. Pretty much a guaranteed fish catch. every time. It's one of my favorites, go-to place, absolute staple. Well, after 8 fish, we have finally made our way to the deepest end of the lake down by the dam. Oh. Saw him hit it. Doggone it. Oh, again, it's a little bass. There he is. I think that's the same one. Yeah, finally got him to commit. There we go. Number 9. We're gonna do this, guys. We're gonna get 10 fish today. So I'm thinking for number 10, we go somewhere we've never been. Down there. I've been down here with Reed before. Obviously it's the dam runoff. Small fish, but I think we can get one. There we go. That's even a bass. Looky there. But there we go. Boy, that's a pretty bass. Look at that guy. Number 10. We've done it. Now I'm worried I miscounted, so how about one more for good measure? Look at that. Get up here. Next cast. And another bass. All right, that does it. Oh. There it is. Number 11 or 10 if I can't count. What a day. What a day. Well guys, this was a blast. I actually brought more baits with me than just this one, so I'm gonna tie up a little mullet action and do some more fishing for the big guys. Thanks for coming along with me on this one. Hope you guys enjoyed me catching just a slew of fish on a homemade lure. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching once again, and until the next time, I'll see you guys in the shop.